is it feeling a little breezy there, Donnie?
Breezy.
Yeah.
A little
Get a
bit.
little more airflow?
Yeah,
Floor?
a little bit of airflow. A little bit more airflow. Yep. I still don't know how it happened. I just noticed it while I was sitting at the console. I'm just like, oh.
I wonder if it was while we were installing waves. Yesterday. No, that was all yesterday.
No, it was
right?
all yesterday. I don't know what it could have been. It might have been me man-spreading while I was mixing.
Yeah, just did subconsciously man-spreading.
Yep, just subconsciously, just like, yep.
I think you were really just embodying the 6th grade students that you had over the weekend.
Oh, yep. That was interesting. And we're going to talk about Winter Retreat. But, everybody, welcome to the Offstage Podcast. That was not planned, but we did
Didn't
that.
quite work.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Last week, we touched a little bit on ANU monitors and my journey with that.
And my almost journey with that.
Yeah. And today, we're talking about Winter Retreat because we both had the opportunity.
/ student getaway / winter camp.
Winter camp, Arctic Blast. I think that's what ours was called, Snow Blast.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But we both had the opportunity to go on that. And so, that was pretty cool. But because you had yours the week before I did, why don't you share your experience first?
Okay, so let me preface this. Donnie went as a leader.
I did. I
went as
tech support.
Tech support, something like that. It was good. I ended up running sound for a team I had never worked with, never met, didn't rehearse with, and I was on an analog console.
Yep.
With a tech lead who isn't a tech lead. He's a worship lead, really. Getting to become a friend of ours, but still not as much of a tech lead as a worship lead. So, something to be said for that, of course, whereas I am just tech. So, it was all around a very interesting setup, of course, because very different from most of the things we do around here. Analog console being one of them, and I don't run sound very often. I used to a lot more. I haven't ran sound very often recently.
Yeah.
One of the last times was in our main auditorium 2, 3, 4 months ago now.
What was that for?
It was a week Jason was gone, and it was prior to Harrison.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember that. Yeah.
Like, we don't have anyone else, and I'm like, I guess I can do it.
Yeah.
So weekend started off, I got stuck in a snowbank on my way there.
You too?
Yes. That camp is hard to get in and out of. So I was they've got like a one-way road.
Yep.
And I was pulling out of the way so that somebody could get past. Well, I must have caught the edge of whatever dip they had, or the snow was just caught right. So it pulled to the side of the lane, and it just sucked me into the side. And I was just, it wasn't that I was pointed into the snowbank.
You just kind of dipped down.
The entire car just went sideways into the snowbank. And I was like, I'm stuck now.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me when I was leaving, because I took a trip when you went on a retreat up north, and it started snowing, and I did that exact same thing. Like, I'm turning, and all of a sudden, my car just, I'm like, oh.
So, I started it off by getting stuck, which, no big deal. The first thing, we got there Thursday night. The first thing that happened, everybody checked in. All the students checked in with their leads and whatnot. And then the next thing that happened is we all went up to the main chapel that we were using, which was, they called it the Hill Chapel. And we started just with some announcements and then a small worship set. I think it was 2 songs, something like that.
A baby set.
I got up there about half an hour before everybody else because, I didn't have to check in with the students. I was like, hi, I'm here. And they were like, great. And then I stood there for like 15 minutes before I went up to the chapel anyways. So I went up to the chapel, and their worship guy, Jordan, was there already, getting a few things finally set up. One of his interns was also up there. He's got like 3 interns.
Yeah.
3 tech worship interns. I think they were considered tech interns, but one of them was finalizing some setup, which is where I ran into the first interesting thing. They've got floor boxes,
Oh.
but they don't. Okay, this was one of those areas where I was like, this hurts me on a couple of different levels. Quarter to XLR into the floor box. Jordan said he tried DIs, but he couldn't get the DIs to work. So it was quarter into floor box. Floor box is janky. Plug into the piano is janky.
Wow.
So you touch the jack, the cord in the piano, and it goes. You're like, oh, it's going to be one of them days, is it? So that was the first fun experience I had as I walked up there and I was trying to figure out some nonsense. So we tried a different patching, and they have analog rack patching.
Oh. Fun.
So floor box
Fun.
gets patched here, board goes in here, it patches to there. It's like, okay, so I can figure that stuff out as basic logic at that point. And then I get to meet Joran, because at that point he wasn't there yet.
Wait, I thought he was. Or his interns were there.
His interns were
Gotcha.
there. Yes. Got to meet him, got to talk. I helped him finish up some Pro Presenter stuff. We went into the first worship set, and that's where it was like, oh, this is something I have not done, because A, it's a very different style. We went with a group of churches. Maybe I should clarify this.
Yeah, group.
There was a group of 4 or 5 churches that all come together to do one big camp. Definitely weird because of COVID, but nonetheless. So it was a team I hadn't worked with. Very different style. Less polish than we try to put on.
Yeah.
So it's more organic, but less polished.
Yeah.
So just very different. And then, of course, that was my first, right when he got there, it was like, yeah, you can mix since you're a tech guy. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So I hadn't been with them at all, so I was just making it up as I went along through that first set, because there was no rehearsal for me. So I was
Wait.
EQing
They didn't
gain
have-
structure during the first
They
set.
didn't have a rehearsal?
Not that I was a part of.
True. Okay.
I'm guessing there was one earlier that day, but I wasn't a part of it. So,
Okay.
and then very similar through the rest of it. I think we had 4 or 5 more sets throughout the week, and
Friday morning, Friday night, Saturday morning,
Yeah.
Saturday night, Sunday morning. Yeah.
so they were all good. They all felt slightly different. There was a set Saturday night, which they're crying set. They brought out all the big hitters.
Yep. Yep.
And that was good. It really felt good. There were a couple other fun things, like we had a glow in the dark 9 square.
9 square.
Yeah, that was fun. We were playing all 80s hits because all the worship and tech interns picked the playlist
Yep.
for the weekend,
Makes sense.
and it was 80s disco music.
Mm-hmm.
Fun. We got to DJ as you always do for that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
We had a snowball fight for indoor. Okay, so the weekend I went, it was -20 Saturday night, not including wind chill. So we didn't let people go outside unless they were going between the chapel and cabin or chapel in one of the other chapels or the food or whatever. So we did an indoor snowball fight. One of the funnest things I've ever tried in tech was throwing reverb on an announcer mic. And this dude's not an announcer. So he's he's our student director's tech intern. Intern.
Chris?
Yes, it was Chris.
Oh,
So-
I know it's Chris.
Our student intern is announcing, and he's relatively a quiet guy.
I'll share more.
He's
of
not
that.
an outspoken guy.
I'll share more of that in a bit.
But, so I just, you give him a microphone, he tries to be energetic, and it just doesn't necessarily come across that way. So throwing some reverb on it sounds like you're an announcer in a boxing arena. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Other notable things, nothing that notable. I think my camera just died.
I'll go check it.
I heard this shut.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yep, battery died. This part will just be audio.
You want it to just be audio?
Oh, just until I fix this.
Oh,
Just
just
keep rolling
oh,
on the audio side.
okay. You do that.
Little piece. So just keep
Fun
talking.
little piece. Well, guys, I'm gonna keep talking about my experience now. I'm gonna start talking about my experience. I am a 7th grade middle school leader and it's interesting to say the least. It's fun. It takes a lot of patience, but at the end of the day, it's a good time. So middle school retreat, we went to Lake Geneva Youth Camp. In Lake Geneva, I know, funny, right? That's great. Lake Geneva Youth Camp, and then let's see, we went on Friday evening. I got there at about 6:00. The kids were getting there at 7, so we go. The leaders show up at 6. We get our bunks. Should I sync it?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Okay. We get our bunks, and
just to pop in for a sec.
Okay.
I went on the high school one.
Yeah.
We never actually said that. I don't.
No, you did.
You did?
I said that in the beginning. I said.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Well, either way, we have it now.
But in my room, the leaders were me, Chris, and then Caleb.
Chris
So
was a leader in
Chris
my
was-
cabin as well. So.
Oh yeah. So Chris, me, good group of leaders, and then our room was for those of you guys who know these kids, Eli Buck, Tyler Claysing, Cade Gunderson, Hunter Code, Noah Yoakum, and Jaden. I forgot his last name, but a group of 6.
Good job calling him out, by the way.
Yeah,
Nice.
Jaden, Owen, Christian. That was our entire room. Most energetic group of middle school boys that I have been in a bunk with or in a cabin with. Cade brought a basketball hoop that you could stick on the back of the door. And so my boys were sitting there dunking on each other and just playing horse or pig or whatever, making shots from across the room for hours. And
Until
we're
like 3 a.m.
so, yeah, we're just up. And I'm just like, you know what? Just let them have it.
Let him go.
Let them have it, because tomorrow they're gonna be exhausted. We're gonna be great. Yeah.
Didn't happen.
So let's backtrack a little bit. We hit the first worship night set on Friday night.
So theirs was Friday through Sunday.
Friday through Sunday, yeah. So Friday night. And so for me being a worship tech guy, I can never experience a worship set or concert the same way ever anymore.
Yep.
The moment I made that switch, it's just like, oh,
Unless you're running it.
unless you're running it.
Then you can, it's like a different experience.
It's a different
entirely.
experience. But I'm sitting there. We had a college group from Judson University doing our worship. So I didn't know that at the time. I knew that they were from the Chicago area. Chicago area. And I was like, oh, cool. And so I learned that they were from Judson after the fact. But I go in the first set and I'm like, this is loud. I can't hear anything. And all the kids is going nuts and just jumping because first night, letting their energy out. And so I'm kind of sitting there, and then Jason, our student director, kind of comes over and he's like, hey, so something definitely wrong with tech, right? And I'm like, yeah, yep. He's like, I don't know what it is, but
I can tell you about 7 things, but
yeah. I'm like, I'm trying not to control what I can't control.
Trying not to be that guy.
Yep, try not to be that guy. And then I think the funniest part was Saturday morning, Jordan, who was also on our retreat, he comes up to me, he goes, so how about that feedback last night? And I'm just like, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No, but all in all, it was a fun trip. Good worship. They also, fun fact about the worship team, I heard that they only practiced for about 20 minutes before their first set. So I was like, yeah, and it showed. And by the end of the weekend, they were really tight, really tight together, and the sound sounded better. So I think it was just getting a lot like your situation.
Yeah.
Where the first set was kind of like, okay, let's get the set up, let's do this right. But I think for me, the highlight of the trip was, it's going to sound kind of weird, but finding a bathroom with peace and quiet. That was my highlight of the trip, okay? Here's one thing you guys got to understand about this bathroom situation. 45 boys in one cabin area.
How big is this cabin?
There are 3 separate rooms in this big cabin.
Okay.
So 3 separate rooms full of like 20 or so beds. But like around 45 boys, 1 bathroom. Ready here? This is the bathroom situation. 3 stalls, 3 showers, 3 sinks. To split amongst 45 middle school boys and
Including
leaders.
what, like 10 liters?
Huh?
Is that
Yeah.
including leaders or not?
No, not including leaders.
Okay.
All in all, there are about 60 people in our cabin.
That's a big cabin.
That's a big cabin to split between 3 stalls, 3 showers, and 3 sinks. And so, just chaos.
So, this is stuck in my head. So, our cabin, I got you beat.
Oh, jeez.
We had an air fryer.
Yeah, I know that. I was thinking about bringing a microwave or something. But
Yeah, so one of the leaders brought an air fryer, and we're making like chocolate chip cookies and
pizza rolls, I
pizza
thought.
rolls. I'm trying to remember what else was that first night or the second night. I don't remember.
Did you bring chicken nuggets or something?
Yeah, there was a lot of actual food.
Yeah. But, yeah. See, like, I'm so mad that I didn't think of that and that he did it before I could do it. But props to him. Props to him. I don't think any other middle school leader has done that. Or, no, high school leader has done that. Yeah, I don't think any other high school leader has done that. But, yeah, I mean, middle school retreat was fun. And then Jason ended up giving me the nickname The Hammer. Yep, The Hammer.
So during our all-staff meeting Wednesday,
Yep.
Donovan wasn't there because he had just gotten off the middle school retreat.
Oh, I'm still recovering from it.
He was still recovering like hard. He hadn't slept much over that last 3 days or whatever,
I just haven't been sleeping much, but yeah.
and that didn't help.
Mm-hmm.
So he slept, period, that morning, and slept all the way through our staff meeting. We're
Yeah.
all sitting there like halfway through the staff meeting going, where is he? So David, our lead,
Yeah.
text him, and he doesn't respond for like another hour. But in that meeting, our student leader goes, yeah, Donovan was just really the hammer. It was like the second he said something, the students were like, okay, it's time to be done. And then, of course, later that day, our lead pastor comes up, our senior pastor.
Yep.
I don't really know what the difference
Senior
was.
pastor.
It's probably the same thing, or nearly.
Yeah, same thing.
Comes up to him and goes, so you're the hammer I hear. And we're just like, well,
I have no context as to what just happened.
yeah, he hasn't heard about
Like-
this because he wasn't there.
I wasn't there. And so I'm just like, what? The Hammer? He's like, yeah.
Jason
the
said you
hammer.
were the hammer.
And I was like, oh.
What does that mean?
I had no idea what I did to get that nickname.
So,
Until-
of course, I explained it.
Yeah, but, oh, man, it just, I didn't think I was being the Hammer, but I guess I was being the Hammer.
Well, I mean, you had to tell kids to put their pants on. So
Oh, yeah. Pants on,
gloves, hats.
gloves, get their coat on, stop having paper towel wars in the bathroom. Like, not just paper, wet paper towels.
Ooh.
And I'm like, guys, knock it off. But, oh, well. Somebody got to do it.
Yeah. We only had one instance of that, and ironically, it was a student telling a leader.
What?
So, one of our leaders
Oh,
was wearing shorter shorts. So, Luke.
oh.
So,
Yep.
one of the students was like, put some pants on, man. He's like, I'm in my bunk with my sleeping bag on. Why do you care? But his legs were hanging out. He's like, put some pants on.
Yeah, Luke
So-
is pretty tall, too. He's
Yeah.
tall. So,
So his legs do stick out.
yeah. I don't know. All in all, I think my retreat was good, though. I thought it was a good experience for the kids and also for leaders. For me, it was good to be able to just kind of relax a little bit.
Which, ironically, there was very little of going on for either of us.
Yeah.
But there's something you'll undoubtedly know that when you run something every week, like EG or sound or
Yep.
video directing, just to not have to do that specific task for a weekend is really relieving.
Relieving.
Sure, we'll go with
Yep.
relieving. And I felt that, and it rejuvenated
Even though you were
me.
running tech.
Yeah, well, so I love running sound. I just don't do it very often because I've usually got people I'm either training or people who are better at it. So I just don't do it. That doesn't mean I don't like it. So it's always enjoyable to run audio. So it was a good change that way. I don't get to do that very often. Yeah, it was fun. I got nothing negative to say, really.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was enjoyable. Other than I got stuck in the parking lot twice.
Twice?
So I didn't stay the first night because I had come off of a long day at work and I was stuck on a snowbank on the way there. And I was just like, I just need to go in my bed and sleep. And I live like 2 minutes away from the camp. So I went home that night. Well, the place I parked when I got there that night after getting stuck in the snowbank was apparently a patch of ice on a slight incline. So I spent like 5 minutes trying to get out of this parking space because I'd get a little ways up and then I'd slip right back down. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then leaving, I got stuck on leaving the camp because that camp right at the entrance exit, there's like a hill, like like almost a 45, and snowy, snow crappy tires. Yep. I got stuck there too. Not for as long. It just took me a running start. I was up it, but it took me 2 tries. So
2 tries. Yeah. All in all, I think both weekends were pretty successful weekends.
Oh, totally. We had 3 kids come to Christ at ours, and a bunch of renewed. 5. Well, you also had a lot bigger attendance, I believe.
Yeah.
But and then like 15 or 20 renewed vows, renewed passions. I don't know what you want to call them.
Renewed. I don't know. Yeah, just
reinvigoration. Let's go with that.
What did you say?
Reinvigoration.
Reinvigoration. Sure. Yeah, I don't know that we outwardly had any of those. But
they asked.
Yeah. So. They did ask. They asked. We had 5 kids get up. And so I thought that was cool. Definitely one of the other highlights of the weekend. It's like
always.
That's great. That's really great. So one thing that also hit me kind of hard on the retreat too is just realizing that we all play a really key part in all of like the student in the student ministry and all of the student lives. You know, like we talked about this way before. Like we're leaders, and so we're pouring into and we're investing into students, and we're inspiring and influencing them, I guess. And so that was a cool thing that me and some of the other leaders we started talking about, like just talking about our actions, how like they're watching what we do, and so like cool. But yeah, all in all, nothing bad to say about the retreat. Besides the fact that I was tired. That Sunday after we came back, I had to come back and play for services for the weekend. But my rig just said no. Like my pedal board just said no.
To be fair, you made it through 2/3 of the weekend.
I made it through Saturday, all of Saturday. And then I left again to go back to camp. And then the first half of the set on first service Sunday. And then the first song for second service Sunday. So it's like, okay, I'll take it. But yeah, and so where was I before I talked about the weekend?
I don't know.
What was I talking about?
Reinvigoration.
No, not reinvigoration.
Pouring into. Well, it's gone now.
Yep, that's gone. Thanks for losing I lost my train of thought. Yep.
Well,
figure out what I said or what I was talking about. Well,
that'll do it for this time, I guess.
Let's do it. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed our little talks about winter retreat. Just something fun, something cool, something great to be a part of. I highly encourage that if you guys aren't just plugged in at a church where you guys can have retreats and fellowship with other people, encourage you guys to do that.
Yeah, totally.
It's great. It's great.
We've got in this season, finding somewhere to have community is very important.
Huge. Yeah, for some people, it's in the tech world. Other people, just it's a Bible study, the student ministry. Sometimes, it's just getting a group of people to go out and get coffee. So, yeah, that's going to wrap it up for today.
With our sage-like advice, we're done now.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, we will see you guys next week.
Peace.
I was a little late.
Yeah. Our always useless sync claps. So let me just throw another one in there. The ones where it's almost a sync clap, but it's not quite a sync clap because we've done two nearly on top of each other, making it utterly useless.
Yeah.